Welcome back to Lego by the Book. Today I'm going to be building set 6268, the Renegade Runner from 1993. So I would have been 10. I acquired this set when we were moving. I believe when I got this set when we were moving from Idaho to Washington. This was the second pirate ship that I got. I believe the Imperial flagship was the first one, and that will be the next one that I build in a couple of videos. And I got this one when we moved. It was one of those, moving is hard, you're getting uprooted, you're leaving all your friends, you're moving somewhere strange. And so our parents, being forward-thinking, got us presents. And in my case, I got this little pirate ship. And similar to the Caribbean Clipper, where it was a much smaller set, it allowed that to happen. It was, wasn't very expensive. It doesn't have a whole lot of parts. I think it's 167 parts, give or take. So it was one that could easily be bought, but that was a really neat set. Getting another pirate ship meant I could now have naval battles and all of that. So it was really, really cool. This was the second generation of pirate, as it were. Oh, this guy's supposed to have a hook and doesn't. Oh well. Second generation, this was the Red Imperial Guard era. That is not the right map either. Life will go on. And so some of the stuff was still carrying over, but then there was some new stuff because it was, a new generation, a new line, and it was really, really pretty cool. I didn't have any of the first generation pirate ships yet. I would get them later, but at the time I did have this one. So let's take a look at our crew here. Get them all set up. So most of the crew is your typical, or holdovers from the original pirate line. You've got, red stripes and blue stripes, and the guy with the hat. But the captain of this one was new. He had the shredded torso with the dagger and a bandolier, and had a brown beard and patch instead of the red beard and patch. So yeah, you had a new character, a new leader type character. They also, in this era, introduced the smaller hulls. Both the Black Sea Barracuda and the Caribbean Clipper had the larger hulls. It was just a matter of length. But now they introduced this much smaller pirate ship. And then the Imperial flagship had this size hull, but a midsection, and the Black Sea Barracuda, or the Skull's Eye schooner, had the same size hull as the Black Sea Barracuda. So now you had 3 of these hulled ships in this line, and it was pretty cool. I remember obviously really wanting the big pirate ships, but they were not in the cards for my budget at the time, and they were just a little bit too big for even birthday or Christmas presents, given how many brothers and sisters I had. I was decidedly not an only child, and so while I was the eldest son and did get more than my share, I feel, part of that was just that I was so easy to shop for, that you could always get me Lego. It didn't matter what Lego. I had my preference, and my family knew that I liked Castle and Pirate over other options. Space was also obviously perfectly acceptable. Any Lego was. I mean, it wasn't like if you got me a town set, I was going to throw a fit, because there were always parts, always new parts. And especially in that era, it really didn't matter because most of the sets used the same parts. They hadn't really gotten into the big habit of using a lot of specialty parts that were really only useful for one line. Now there obviously there's stuff that, in the pirate ships that really wouldn't be any use to you in a city set, things like masts, and there were things in the city sets that obviously wouldn't really translate well to trying to build, say, a pirate ship. But, and in that era there was still a lot more overlap. And so it didn't matter what set you got me, I was going to be pleased as punch, and I would build it. And it wasn't that I didn't like city sets. I enjoyed building some of the ones that I ended up with, and I had a few. And I had a passing interest. I liked the semi-trucks for some reason, but I never got very many of them. And so my interest in city kind of dwindled, and I decided to focus on the pirate and the castle. And when I was spending my own money, that's what I bought. And since that's what I had the most of and what I talked about, that tended to be what I then got for my birthday and Christmas, and whenever, you know, I did particularly good at something. So yeah. I do not know why they decided to make those parts blue. It seemed like an odd design choice. They didn't consult me, which isn't surprising because I was 10 at the time. I tended to go with a, well, at that time, definitely a much more monochromatic, almost, color scheme in all of my things. I was not good with color palettes. Using a lot of variety, I tended to just make everything black and call it good. Which it wasn't always. Yeah, that is right. Okay. Being that it was a small set, there wasn't a whole lot of detail, but they did a surprisingly good job given how small of a set it is. Things line up, things still manage to feel largely finished despite how small of a set it is. Which will decidedly not be the case in some later pirate ships that will be getting built on this channel and reviewed most dubiously, critically. But luckily, that era has passed, and we are back in an era of magnificent pirate sets. I really hope the fact that they made the Barracuda Bay and the new Ideas one that's coming out, I'm hoping that is a sign of a new pirate line, a full pirate line in the future, because we haven't had one since the Pirates of the Caribbean sets, which were... Oh, am I short parts? I thought I... Oh, yeah, there we are. Okay. What was I talking about? Pirates of the Caribbean sets, which weren't bad. They were actually really nice pirates ships. Well, those are just ridiculously loose. What is up with that? Have any that aren't? Weird. Okay. Guess those are just going to be really loose. Come to grips with that. Where am I? What am I looking at? Okay. I would also love to see a new castle line. The Nexo Knights just did not do it for me. I liked the villains, but the rest of it, the whole semi-sci-fi feel about it, just didn't fit with my current stuff. I liked the classic look. So I am very much hoping they will come out with a new line of castle that is a little bit more in line with the old classic stuff, or at least similar enough. Wish I'd gotten more of the Lord of the Rings sets, but they were really expensive because licensing, of course. And I was in college at the time and didn't have much expendable income. Now I would love to get them, but they are now all discontinued and thus absurdly expensive. This one was supposed to come with a firing cannon, but mine did not. And while I do have firing cannons, I have not put it in here, but it did come with gray ammunition instead of black ammunition. That's an interesting choice. I think I'm missing... No, I'm not missing a part. Really? Why? That is interesting. These usually fit on these little posts more snugly, but I guess the newer ones are not so much. Oh well. Ship shouldn't be upside down anyway. If it is, they've got bigger problems. Now, this ship did not have any rigging. They decided, I guess, it was too small to deserve rigging. But yep. It really doesn't need rigging because of the style of ship that it is, which you'll see here in a second once we get the sails built. Okay. Yeah, so a neat little one. Alright, what do we got? Okay. Time to add some more weapons. This was a neat little addition, having the muskets mounted like swivel guns. I thought that was a cool addition since they only gave you the one major cannon. They also did at this point introduce train. They introduced trains. A functional compass. All of these pirate ships in this particular era came with a functional compass, which is really neat, I thought. Okay. I think we are just about down to it. I need to add some rope. Somewhat odd way of doing that. In many ways, I like that they kind of did away with regular ropes in later sets and went to a more using the rope with the brick on either end of it so that you didn't have to worry about tying things off or things getting all knotted up. Man. Now let me see if I made this way too short and way too long. Probably one of the two. Through there. There. These actually are, I believe, the original sails from this set. Well, this might not be the right little front sail, but the main sail is the correct one. It has survived the years somehow. Not good. Come on. There we go. And I've got some extra. Good. Good, good, good. Okay. And then our main sail. And let's get a big flag in the back, little flag on top. And we need to add a dragon flag to the front because that's what its maidenhead is, was a little dragon. No idea why, but it is. And I need to find a pair of scissors. Or not. Now I have no idea where my scissors or my knife are at the moment, so the rope shall dangle. Now we toss on some pirates. Yar and stuff. And there we go. The Renegade runner. Yeah, that is not... There we go. Okay. But yeah, it was a little, you know, not a full square rigged ship. It had a little... I don't know the nautical term. I'm sure Corporal Fusco is terribly disappointed in me. But it had this style of sail, which is why I said it really didn't need rigging as much as like the big square rigged ships did. It did have one gun on a swivel turret, which was cool because it could fire in any direction. They actually did give you ramrods for it, two ramrods for a single cannon. I have no idea why, but they did. 2 swivel muskets on the front, so it was very well armed. A 4-man crew, which is decent for a ship this size. Didn't have any kind of a rudder or a tiller. They just couldn't be bothered with this small of a set again because it's it's a small set, and it's meant to be the really cheap option, so that your kid could get a pirate ship without having to get the 1,000-piece Black Seas Barracuda or what have you. So these little ones were really cool for that. So now I had 2 ships, and I could do naval battles, and I could have this one versus my flagship, and then I eventually got the Black Seas Barracuda and really had a proper fleet. You are old and worn out, aren't you? Yeah, it was a neat one. I liked that the sails were black. That's kind of what inspired me to take a permanent marker to my original Black Seas Barracuda sails and make them black, because I was a fool. Error. This is actually supposed to be... Come back up there. Come on. Leave off. Through there. Oh yeah, that definitely holds that in place better. Sure the flags are going the right way. Might want to replace one of those, because that joint is just not holding up well. Anyway, I believe I have blathered enough. This is a neat one. I like it, and I may be biased, but I definitely feel that this one was more complete and better designed than the next generation's small ship, and I will compare them to each other, and you can make your own decisions. But I like the color. It had a splash of color here, there. It's got the red in the back for the decoration there, and for that, and then it had the blue, which I didn't understand, but they had it there anyway. Didn't have the yellow trim that you see, or the white trim that you see in the Skull's Eye schooner, but yeah. I would, of course, go on to give it more of a full deck. I would continue to go with swivel guns, though I think I went with 1 fore and 1 aft, so it had 2 swivel guns and more of a deck and a little bit more railing. But as it was a neat little ship, and I really liked it, and I really appreciated getting it when I did. So yeah, there it is, the Renegade Runner from 1993. Right at the beginning of what I would call the Dark Ages, and we will get to Dark Age sets eventually, but luckily we still have the Imperial flagship and the Skull's Eye schooner to get through first, so we'll have 2 good ones, and then we'll get to the ones that made me sad. But after that we will get on to the good ones that started coming out after that. We've already done the most recent one, but there were some other really nice ones that came out, so yeah, there you have it, the Renegade Runner. Cool little ship. Thank you for watching.